What's going on, you guys? TBR here, back yet again with another King of Fighters All-Star video, and in today's video we have a lot of news we need to go over because we're playing a little bit of catch-up, and we have some new-ish news that we're going to also be going over. But in today's video I'm going to be running down all of the latest Tide Them Over updates, otherwise known as the 1019 update, because there are some important things that brought along with it, as well as some important notes that I want to make sure I go over with all of you so that you make sure that you are prepared and do not miss out on a very important item. I'm also, of course, going to be talking about and leading off with the discussion for EX Volume 6. Yes, that is right, you guys. We are getting another EX banner. Yay. Before we go ahead and get into all of that and more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so, you smash that like button and subscribe, and let's just go ahead and get into the news. So we're just going to go ahead, like I mentioned, and lead off here with the big news first, and of course that is going to be we have a new Who's That Pokemon, otherwise known as Who's That King of Fighters All-Star character, right? So this is, of course, going to be a pretty obvious one, but I think that the bigger point to this is the fact that this is not just a spoiler for the character featured, but also more than likely the character that will be the partner for the banner for this character, which in my opinion is a lot more interesting. So of course this is going to be a new lady gender bend character. It's going to be Lady Chin, right? So you can pretty much tell that here. It's a dead giveaway from this photo. Lady Chin is going to be the next lady fighter. They even mention here a new lady fighter joins the battle, so Lady Chin is pretty much a lock. However, the bigger news here that we need to discuss is of course going to be the banner mate, because I'm pretty sure based on the lore as well as this teaser itself that we are going to be seeing the KOF 15 version of Athena. So when it comes to the KOF 15 version of Athena, I've told you guys before, I'm not a huge Athena fan, but I love her in KOF 15. I think they nailed her overall character design, probably my favorite character design for that character so far. I'm a huge fan of the direction they took her in that game, so I'm very happy to see her get represented. This is of course going to be a very storied character for SNK as well as the King of Fighters, but also for the fan base it is a big get. So for all of you Athena fans out there, she is not 100% confirmed, but it does appear as though, and it would make sense if that ends up being Lady Chin's featured banner mate, right? So EX Volume 6 is going to come up in this video a few times. However, that is pretty much what we know right now. Whenever we get any confirmed information, I will let you guys know. Take it all with a pinch of salt, but I'm thinking it's pretty obvious at this point who we're going to be getting. Now, of course, you can go in and vote on this, or at least guess on this, and you will be rewarded pretty handsomely if you are one of the lucky 50 winners who gets these EX Fighter Summon tickets for Volume 6, because you'll get 5 of them. You're also going to get Pop Star tokens, which more than likely is going to coincide with something coming along, and is also another spoiler for Athena 15, right? So that's pretty much what we have confirmed at this point. We don't really know necessarily the characters themselves 100%, but you can pretty much tell from the votes here, the secret is out. So that is what we got as far as that information. The next thing I want to talk about, we're going to jump into the game, and I want to talk about a few things, continuing on with the EX Volume 6 conversation, and that is of course going to be these random mystery boxes. So we do now have these new in-game events we're going to talk about, and part of that is going to be these mystery boxes. You're going to notice that they've done these before. This is just the way they're doing it for this event, but for the upcoming EX Volume 6, we are going to be able to pick up some summon tickets and some summon tickets for the cards as well, for both of those banners respectively, and we have a bunch of other items in here which largely most people aren't going to pay much attention to, because the main focus, the big get, is going to be these. Do not disconnect from the server. Bad. Don't do it. Anyway, that is what you're of course going to be wanting to try and get out of these, but we all know how these things work. It tends to be a situation where they're pretty much just adding RNG into their RNG. The other things in here, not much to talk about when it comes to the regular items. You get some hammers, you get some caps, more caps, blah, 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 blah. You get 5 elite enhancement hammers, which is basically the equivalent of just, a pat on the head from Netmarble there. You get this reset token, but the big thing here for finally getting through this memory carnival is going to be this BS and SS set card selector, which is going to go one of 2 ways depending on where you're at in the game. If you're somebody that has been playing this game for a long time, this is probably welcome, because chances are you needed a piece for a set somewhere, had a heartbreak moment with a banner somewhere at some point last year, you ended up not getting the final piece that you needed. This will help you do that. Maybe you have multiple sets that you could make if you do this. That's going to be for you, right? For those of you who are new players, however, this is only a set card selector. So what this basically means is if you are a brand new player, hold on to this ticket. My theory on this, and I could be dead wrong, is that they are going to start giving us more of these types of tickets. Chances are we're going to see more of this in the future. I would even venture a guess and say we'll probably end up seeing ones for the option cards as well. Fingers crossed, because those are still going to be the most valuable at this point in the game. However, if you guys want my opinion on these card sets, in my opinion, you skip the Transcendental Being set because it is awful, and then you go and move on to the City of Darkness set as well as the Gears of Fate set. I lumped those together because they're largely the exact same thing for the most part. The biggest thing here with these 2 sets is they're still really good, like, I guess, I don't want to call them budget sets, but, fest sets, we'll just go with that, for things like Immortals, but outside of that, you're really never going to use it. And then you, of course, have the Fighting Idol set. This one here is nice as a gimmick set for defensive fighters. It's still not a terrible set at all. It's just not necessarily anything I would be going out of my way for. So with that being said, I think that right now, if you're a new player, you hold on to this and wait to see if you get more of these down the road. At that point, you'll get more use out of it. However, if you do have a set that you want to finish and you're in that position, go for it. World's your oyster, but you're probably not going to be using much of those anymore anyway. So that is pretty much what we got there as far as Memory Carnival event goes. Not too bad. I ended up finishing this by going in and combining memories. That's pretty much all I did to finish this thing the whole way through, so it didn't even cost me any tickets. My recommendation to you guys, if you have those or you have a bunch of the boxes that you get from doing like the Hall of Elements, use some of that stuff, but don't go in and have to use all of your tickets if you don't have to. Combine your memories, and that will go a very, very long way. You can also go into the exchange shop. We take a look here. You can go into the Hall of Elements exchange shop, and you can pick these up. That'll help you out as well there. So there's plenty of different ways you can go about it. Those are just some recommendations on my behalf. So when it comes to other things in here, let's continue talking about these new updates with the Leah Roulette. So we do have a Leah Roulette. This is going to be pretty nice because it does feature these boxes yet again. And yes, they do contain those tickets. Now, with that being said, you are going to want to approach this the same way as you do any bingo. You basically want to go in here, you want to try and bingo on one of these 2 tiles, and you want to collect those boxes and hoard them. However, when it comes to these boxes, I need to make sure that I give you guys some information. Now, of course, we talked about the ones that are going to be coming out of the carnival. We're going to be getting them from this as well. We want as many of those tickets as we can possibly get, right? We have event missions we can do in order to get these things that aren't even that difficult. You get them for logging in once a day. They'll be in your inbox. If you go to your event tab, you'll have these 3 different events. You get plenty of these things, right? You got some ads that you can do when you're on mobile. Make sure you do those for all of you PC players. You're getting a bunch of these. However, keep in mind, there is a line of text here that is very important. These random mystery boxes obtained through the Memory Carnival, as well as the rest of the places you'll get them, are going to expire on 10/26. So basically, guys, I know that you might assume that they might just stay there. They aren't going to just stay there. They do expire on 10/26. Make sure you open your boxes on or before 10/26. If you miss out on these tickets, that's on you. You've been warned. But just make sure you guys do that. You'll also see here that the EX Fighter and Battle Card Summon tickets for Volume 6 obtained by opening the mystery boxes can be used after the EX Volume 6 update, so that's when you'll be able to use those. So that's pretty much what we got there, and that's going to reiterate right there as well. This is for the roulette, that you need to make sure you open those before the 26th, or at least before that time on the 26th. So that is what you guys need to know about that. I wanted to make sure that we went over that because that is very important. There is a timer on them. You just need to make sure that you guys get these things opened before that expiration. Outside of that, make sure you guys try to get as many of these as you can. Again, we've seen these types of events in the past. Not much else to talk about when it comes to this, so just make sure you guys are getting this done. And finally, we can go ahead and talk about one last thing here, you guys. If we go to our check-in log and we take a look, we are going to have a new Ruby login event to coincide with Halloween, Athena, Lady Chin, the whole 9 yards, right? So basically, if we do the quick math here, you got 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 rubies that are going to be time-limited rubies. I believe these expire on November 2nd, if I remember correctly. So that is what you are going to need to make sure you use those by. So that pretty much confirms next week we will see EX Volume 6, and it will be probably coming along on that Thursday with us getting event and update notices on that Wednesday, right? So that is pretty much what we have as far as updates, you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think about all this information. Are you super hyped for KOF 15 Athena? Me personally, I am going to have to skip the next banner, and it is unfortunate that it is the KOF 15 Athena more than likely, because I really do like that version of Athena, as I mentioned. Unfortunately, however, Rugal is one of my favorite characters in all of SNK lore, period, so I kind of had to make that decision when I did, and I'm kind of relieved it's not one of the characters I wanted more. But let me know in the comments section if you're excited for her, because I know there's a lot of fans for her. What do you think of Lady Chin being even a thing at this point? I thought that it couldn't get much weirder than Lady Choi, but it's pretty obvious at this point that all of these characters that they feel like aren't necessarily going to be the most wanted or have the most appeal to people out there, that they would like to have incorporated into the game somewhere and represented as EX or SS or BS or whatever the case may be, that they're going to just gender bend those characters at this point, which I think is fine. It's a good way to try and still market that and make those characters more marketable to more people, but at the same time getting that character into the game. So it does work. To me, it will never replace having the actual character and just having a really, really good version of them, but the lady characters don't necessarily do anything to upset me on a personal level, and hey, I'll take what I can get. So anyway, you guys, let me know in the comments section down below what you think of all of that. Make sure that you check out and do all of the things that we talked about in today's video to get these events done before then, and I will talk to you all in the Saturday chat and chill. You all take care. Peace.
Continue.